For many of us who are scapegoats, black sheep, and empaths, it's easy to carry a heavy energy. There's lots of stuff that happened to us early on and throughout our lives, and it's appropriate that we feel sadness, anger, shame, guilt, the rest of it. There is appropriate shame, but if we're carrying that the whole time and it's being denied, people are saying you shouldn't be whatever it is, then that's really unhelpful because we're pushing it away the whole time, and then that creates an even heavierness. This video is about allowing the sadness, understanding that sad stuff makes us sad, but that also we want to move on, find our tribe, find the joy, the happiness, fun in life, and still allow the sadness as well. It's like there are no improper emotions, even if they told you there were. My name's Mark. This is The Emotional Alchemist. I help black sheep, scapegoats, and empaths put down the baggage of the past, which most likely isn't yours, and find a joy and a fun and the tribe that are going to help you find that joy and fun. For anyone who's new to my channel, there is a overcoming fear meditation in the description below. Hit the link, it'll take you there. There's also some exercises that I do to help balance my left and my right brain. It's really simple stuff, like literally like the butterfly exercise, which syncs both sides of the brain. Anyway, because the emotional stuff can be overwhelming. This helps. Sadness, for so many of us, we were told that certain emotions are not permissible. It's like anger, sadness, guilt. Many of us were allowed to feel shame, lots of shame. But if you felt anger, then you should feel shame about it. If you feel sadness, you should feel shame about it. And it's all of that is what keeps scapegoats and black sheep and empaths. It's manipulated in the scapegoat role. And it's not like sadness is inappropriate, because when sad stuff happens, then it's appropriate to feel sad. It's like, I also use the easiest example is to say, like, if someone dies in your life, they're no longer there, and it's appropriate to feel sad. There's a grieving process that you go through in order to be able to release that sadness. But there's also a really simple one. If someone comes up to you in the street and punches you in your face, could you imagine the person that you're with saying that you shouldn't feel the pain in your face? It's like you can feel the pain, but you're being told you shouldn't feel it. It's a little bit like someone saying you shouldn't feel sadness. If something sad has happened, then it's appropriate to feel sad. It's okay to feel sad, but if I push that away, whatever it is, and sadness is a sense of loss. It's that I have, that I'm no longer whole, that there's part of me that has been affected by whatever it is. I don't know, as I'm thinking now, I'm thinking about school and the experiences I had about that, and it's like, because they were hard, and somehow maybe I'm still carrying pain about it. A loss of opportunity, a loss of joy, a loss of kind of, and there are lots of us who didn't have such a great time at school. But it's that, if I'm still carrying a sense of loss, it is easiest to see the example where you've lost someone who's died, but actually, for me, I've never known anybody to die that I was close to. My grandparents, but then I wasn't close to them. That was, it's a curious thing, actually. But if I think about loss and sadness, then I'm thinking about my dog. His name was Harold, and when 3 years ago, when I got sick, when the autoimmune disease really hit, and energetically I'd lost huge amounts of weight. Harold had been affected energetically as well, because I was having trouble looking after my own energy, and so he was picking up on my energy, and it was like I couldn't move more than 2 meters away from him in the end before he would just start screaming, because he would want me to be there the whole time. dogs are amazingly intuitive, and so what I ended up doing was I gave him to someone who had another sausage dog, and I gave him up to have a better life. So I had lost Harold, and he was so part of me. I'd never had a dog, I'd never had my own animal, and he was, and so I cried for a week because I'd lost him, who was I'd so closely identified with, and he was hilarious. I'll put a photo in now. This is Harold. I so closely identified as him being part of me, that unconditional love, always happy to see me. It's like, and yet I knew. So as I think about it, there's he lives in fields. He walks on the beach every day. He has the most amazing life, and so there's this bittersweet kind of sensation to it, which is that I made one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, to give my furry son the best life ever, and a better life than I could give him at the time. And yet to do that, I had to lose him. It's appropriate that there is sadness, and I still feel some of that sadness. But can I just let it sit? It's like, what does it really mean for me? It's still unprocessed. Ooh, that's a heavy one. I'm going to look at my notes. I'm going to say I have a couple of word notes here. All of this is basically stream of consciousness. I don't plan these videos particularly. Maybe it comes across that I don't plan them. But I don't know. The more I can, okay, back on subject. Sadness is this sense that I've lost something. But if I can realize that Harold was part of my life for a while, that he literally walks alongside me at that time in my life, and that now I am still whole and I have the memory of Harold, but it's but if I'm focusing on the memory of losing Harold, and that I no longer have furry son sitting beside me, then there's that sense that I'm not whole. And it's not that I want to push the emotion away, but if I can just I don't know, it's an acceptance of how things are now. Yeah, he was amazing. And actually, without him, I wouldn't. I was always terrified about having kids, and I never wanted kids. But actually, Harold, I became so paternal over him. It's like I would stand in front of a truck if there was a truck coming, and Harold was there, and the truck was there. It was like, so he helped me grow, helped me heal, and was an amazing part of my journey. If I look at it like that, it's not that I want to push away the feeling of sadness and loss, but it's like, what is it that, if I can, sadness is appropriate, but it's also, I don't want to sit with just that, because Harold was a joyous part of my journey. If I can find it, I'll put the video of I found the other day. There's another channel that I started originally, and there's this one. It's got like the first video I ever made. I'll drop it in now just for fun. I'm no longer in the place physically located where I was, and that's brought up huge amounts of sadness. And what I have to realize, and what I do realize most of the time, is that the sadness is okay and it will pass, and that I don't need to push it away. I don't need to push any feelings away. I would always medicate to get rid of these feelings that were so uncomfortable that I didn't want them. And actually now I realize that if I sit with them, they do pass and they don't kill me. That's like 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Healing from sadness is about understanding that there is a sense of loss, but that I am still whole, and that if I can just allow that feeling to be? Where is that sense of sadness in my body? It's is it the chest? Is it the stomach? Does it weigh heavy? It's a lot of this stuff is integrating those feelings that I wasn't allowed, sadness, anger, all that kind of stuff, into my body, so that physically, emotionally, mentally, and altogether spiritually, I can be aware of all of them at the same time. What's going on in my body, the feedback, the feelings. The feelings are feedback to tell me what emotions are going on. And then I can ask what belief, what thoughts are going on, what am I believing about the thoughts that are going on, and how is that creating emotions in my body. That for me is self-empowerment, and that is emotional alchemy. It's in feeling the fear in my body, or the sadness, and using it as guidance to understand what is the belief behind it, because actually the feelings in my body are caused by hormones, chemical messengers that are sent out. So the gripping in my stomach when I feel fear is cortisol and adrenaline being released, or told to release from my brain, because I am perceiving some sort of fear or threat. So if I can just go, I've got cortisol going into my stomach right now, which is causing it to go like this. So actually come up here, I'm aware of the body, come up here. What's the emotions that's going on? What are my thoughts? What am I thinking? It's like that. Take it all the way back, and it'll be a belief that says, I'm not whole because Harold's not here. And then maybe I need to sit with it. Maybe I need to turn it around. Maybe I need to look at all the good stuff. It's like there are no wrong feelings. The more I imagine that there are, the more I have to live in this tiny little everything's okay box. And that's just hell. This has been my video on overcoming sadness, or healing sadness. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon and you'll be notified of new videos. My name is Mark, this is The Emotional Alchemist. If you want to see another video on, let's see, scapegoating, it's here. Thanks for watching.